At 6:45 a.m., before the executives arrived and before the glass elevators filled with ambition, a quiet janitor pushed a cleaning cart across the marble lobby of one of the largest tech companies in the city. No one looked twice at her. No one noticed the sharpness in her eyes. And not a single employee realized that the woman wiping fingerprints off the elevator buttons owned the entire building. Avery Loran had built Loran Dynamics from a two-person startup into a global powerhouse. After 25 years at the helm, she was ready to step down as CEO. The board wanted a polished leader with bold presentations and confident promises. Avery wanted something else. She wanted character. She wanted someone who respected people when there was nothing to gain. So she created an experiment. Dressed in a plain gray uniform, hair tucked under a cap, she moved through the headquarters as Ms. Lane, a temporary janitor filling in for a sick employee. A few early arrivals brushed past her without eye contact. One executive candidate stepped over her mop bucket and muttered about incompetence. Another complained loudly about the smell of cleaning solution. Avery said nothing. She simply observed. By mid-morning, the three final CEO candidates were scheduled for interviews. Each had impressive resumes, Ivy League degrees, decades of leadership, aggressive growth strategies. The first candidate, Daniel Reeves, entered the elevator while Avery stood inside holding her card. Sighed impatiently. Service elevators down the hall, he said without even looking at her badge. This one was closest, she replied softly. He shook his head, as if inconvenienced by her presence. On the 18th floor, he stepped out without another word. The second candidate, Marissa Kent, was on a call in the lobby, loudly discussing cost-cutting measures. She mentioned reducing non-essential staff. As she passed Avery, she paused only long enough to ask where the executive suite was, her tone sharp and dismissive. Avery pointed politely. Then came the third candidate, Julian Torres. He arrived early. When he saw Avery struggling to maneuver her cart over the edge of a rug, he stepped forward immediately. "Let me help you with that," he said, steadying the wheel. She thanked him. "No problem," he replied with an easy smile. "Long morning already?" She nodded. "Always is." Rush away. Asked her how long she'd worked there, whether management treated staff fairly, whether she liked the company culture. Avery noticed something important. He wasn't performing kindness because someone important was watching. Assumed no one was, and that was the point. Upstairs, the interviews began. Daniel delivered a powerful presentation filled with aggressive expansion plans and bold revenue projections. The board nodded, impressed. Marissa followed with a polished speech about restructuring and efficiency. Confident, strategic, calculated. Julian spoke last. He talked about people. He spoke about culture shaping profit, not the other way around. He emphasized mentorship, transparency, and long-term stability over flashy growth. Some board members looked skeptical. His numbers weren't as explosive as the others, but Avery had already made her decision. Later that afternoon, the three candidates were asked to wait in the executive conference room for final deliberation. Avery changed out of her janitor uniform and into a tailored navy suit. Posture shifted. Her presence expanded. By the time she entered the boardroom, she wasn't Ms. Lane anymore, she was the founder. The door opened. The candidate stood as she walked in. Daniel's eyes widened first. Recognition hit him like a wave. Marissa froze mid-breath. Julian simply looked confused. Avery took her seat at the head of the table. "This morning," she began calmly, "I spent time observing each of you outside this room." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "I wanted to see how you treat people when you believe they have nothing to offer you." Silence wrapped around the table. She described the elevator moment, the lobby conversation, the small gesture with the cleaning cart. Marissa attempted a quick explanation about being under pressure. Daniel cleared his throat, mentioning misunderstandings. Julian's expression slowly changed as realization dawned. "You," he said quietly, "were the janitor." Avery nodded. He leaned back, stunned but not defensive. "I built this company on grit and respect," Avery continued. "Not on ego, not on titles." Turned to Julian. "You asked the right questions. Not about power, about people." Then she looked at the board. My successor will be someone who understands that leadership is not about how loudly you speak in a boardroom. It's about how you treat someone holding a mop. Daniel stared at the table. Marissa's confidence had vanished. Avery stood. "Julian Torres," she said clearly, "congratulations. The new CEO of Loran Dynamics." The room exhaled. Julian didn't celebrate immediately. He looked at Avery with humility. "I won't let you down." "I know," she replied, because she had already seen who he was when no one important was watching. By the next morning, employees across the company were buzzing about the announcement. Who knew he full story? Word spread quietly that the new CEO had once helped a janitor with a cart, and in the executive office overlooking the skyline, Avery packed the last box from her desk. She didn't need a dramatic farewell. She didn't need applause. She had just ensured that the company she built would be led by someone who understood a simple truth: character is revealed in the smallest moments, and the most powerful leaders are the ones who respect every role in the room.